Hey, Commanders fans, tune in because we have some very important information coming, and you need to know everything about it. Here on the channel, you'll find all the latest news about our team, with breaking news and everything a true Commanders fan needs to know. So, first of all, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell, because here you'll receive everything firsthand and never be out of date. Oh, and leave your like right now to strengthen this incredible community and show that Commanders fans are always there. Without further ado, hold on tight, because today's news is unmissable. Now, let's get straight to the point. 5 blockbuster trades Commanders should consider to boost Super Bowl dreams. It's been an incredible run for the Washington Commanders in 2024. Fans would have welcomed an appearance in the NFC Championship game before the campaign. That was the perfect start, but what comes next is more important. The Commanders have a good opportunity to strengthen their roster this offseason. General Manager Adam Peters is loaded with more than $90 million in available salary cap space. He also has 7 draft picks. That gives the respected front office leader plenty of flexibility during the upcoming draft period. No one is going to turn their backs on the Commanders this spring. Washington is making headlines for all the right reasons. There are ambitious plans behind the scenes to upgrade the facilities and build a new stadium. They also have a franchise quarterback that players will want to rally around. It's a good place to be, but Peters should handle it all with his usual composure and professionalism. Striking when opportunities arise is also essential, especially when it comes to potential trades that may be available. Peters will pull the trigger if he feels it's the right thing to do, as evidenced by the Marshawn-Lattimore trade before the deadline. On that topic, here are 5 blockbuster trades the Commanders could consider if those players become available. Blockbuster trades the Commanders should consider to boost their 2025 Super Bowl hopes. Washington Commanders could enter the race for Garrett Wilson. Wide receiver Garrett Wilson had a frustrating season with the New York Jets in 2024. The AFC East team started the year with high expectations, especially after the arrival of veteran quarterback Aaron Rodgers, but ended up delivering a performance far below expectations. As a result, tensions grew within the locker room, creating divisions between the more experienced players and the young talents who were looking to turn around the franchise's poor run. One of the episodes that exemplifies this turmoil was a disagreement between Wilson and Rodgers during training camp. According to reports, the relationship between the two was not completely restored, which contributed to the evident lack of harmony on the field. The result of this was a frustrating season for Wilson, who, despite his undeniable talent, saw his production limited in an inconsistent offense. Now, the young receiver's future with the Jets seems uncertain. Wilson, a former first-round pick out of Ohio State, has hinted that he may be considering a fresh start away from New York. That possibility raises questions about the team's stance on his future, especially since head coach Aaron Glenn is unlikely to give up his most dynamic passing player. However, that could change depending on what happens with Aaron Rodgers in 2025, as whether he stays or leaves could directly impact the team's decisions. Given that situation, Adam Peters and the Washington Commanders front office should monitor developments closely. Washington needs to bolster its receiving core and add a high-level partner for Terry McLaurin. Wilson would fit perfectly in that role, providing an explosive target for young quarterback Jaden Daniels. Should the Jets decide to listen to offers or Wilson push for a trade, the Commanders should seriously consider making an offer. However, securing the receiver would be no easy task. He's still on his rookie contract, which means his salary cap is affordable, but the compensation required in a trade would likely be high. Still, the opportunity to add a talent of that caliber to Washington's offense could be a strategic investment for the franchise's future. The Washington Commanders could trade Quay Walker to strengthen their defense. Dan Quinn's defense demands dynamism and objectivity in the second level of the field. The Washington Commanders already have a key player in this area, linebacker Frankie Luvu. Since his arrival in 2024, Luvu has quickly emerged as one of the new regime's best acquisitions, delivering dominant performances that led to him being selected as a second-time All-Pro. However, the Commanders should not get complacent. The franchise continues to look for reinforcements to further consolidate its defense, especially against the ground game. Although Bobby Wagner could receive a contract extension to continue contributing with his experience, the scenario remains uncertain. Given this, General Manager Adam Peters needs to identify names that present stability and an immediate impact in the defensive sector. One name that emerges as a potential target is Quay Walker, linebacker for the Green Bay Packers. Despite having surpassed the 100-tackle mark in each of his first 3 NFL seasons, Walker has yet to reach his full athletic potential. With an impressive physique and attributes that combine strength and agility, he would fit perfectly into the scheme implemented by Quinn and defensive coordinator Joe Witt Jr. Walker is an instinctive defender who attacks opponents aggressively and has some interesting pass rush skills. However, his coverage performance still needs work. Under the tutelage of Quinn, an expert in developing defensive talent, Walker could take his game to the next level. If the Packers decide to part ways with the player, the Commanders will need to monitor the situation closely. If the trade price is right, this could be a valuable opportunity for Washington to add more strength to the defensive end and develop Walker into a key player on the team. If Quinn can get the best out of him, the deal could be a real steal for the Commanders. Commanders could trade for Deebo Samuel Sr. You might be sensing a theme here. The Commanders are right on the cusp of something special. To sustain their incredible early momentum, they need to give Jaden Daniels more help in the passing game. Daniels is a dynamic presence who can take over games on his own. His options this season have been limited, though the signal caller has gotten the best of most. The Commanders can't rely too heavily on his playmaking abilities if they want to consistently hang with the NFL's elite. Adam Peters could turn to someone he knows well for assistance. The San Francisco 49ers have just over $48 million in cap space. However, they have a plethora of free agents and also need to pay starting quarterback Brock Purdy. The Niners got the max value of Purdy's 7th-round rookie deal, but he's now eligible for an extension. That means sacrifices have to be made, so it's no surprise to see wide receiver Deebo Samuel Sr.'s name pop up in trade speculation. Samuel has had minor injury issues in recent years, but the former 2nd-round pick remains a versatile weapon with devastating yards after the catch capabilities. Peters was part of the front office staff that brought him to San Francisco. Don't be surprised if the Commanders throw their hat in the ring if the Niners deem him expendable. Commanders could trade for Jack Conklin. The Washington Commanders can't seem to get comfortable in the trenches. This critical area of the field was found wanting on both sides of the football in the NFC Championship game. If Adam Peters wants this organization to move forward, adding to his offensive and defensive lines is crucial. This is a deep draft class for defensive linemen and edge rushers that Peters will undoubtedly tap into at some point. On the offensive side, finding a starting caliber right guard is essential, as Sam Cosmi appears set to miss the entire 2025 campaign with a torn ACL. Improving the tackle positions can't be ruled out completely. Brandon Coleman performed well at blindside as a rookie, despite obvious growing pains. Veteran right tackle Andrew Wiley was inconsistent once again and could be a potential salary cap casualty when push comes to shove. If the Commanders decide to go bold in their quest to provide Jaden Daniels with the protection he needs to thrive, keeping an eye on Jack Conklin wouldn't be the worst idea in the world. The edge rusher is a dominant blocker when he's firing on all cylinders. Unfortunately for the Cleveland Browns, they're in salary cap hell heading into the offseason. The trade and record-breaking contract given to Deshaun Watson have been a catastrophe thus far. The Browns are $30 million over their projected cap, so sacrifices are needed elsewhere. Trading Conklin is unlikely, but it wouldn't hurt for the Commanders to ask. Commanders could trade DK Metcalf. As previously mentioned, the Commanders need to surround Jaden Daniels with the supporting cast he needs to excel. He's done a tremendous job thus far, but the franchise must do its part to take some of the pressure off his young shoulders. Terry McLaurin is exceptional and firmly cemented among the league's best wide receivers, but he can't do it alone. The Commanders need to examine every avenue to bolster the weapons around their dynamic signal caller. That includes the trade market if the right opportunity presents itself. There's growing speculation surrounding DK Metcalf's future with the Seattle Seahawks. The physically imposing pass catcher is an explosive force at the peak of his powers. He's a threat to stretch the field and a nightmare to cover one-on-one. That's exactly the type of threat Washington needs opposite McLaurin. Whether these rumors amount to anything more remains to be seen. Metcalf has 1 year remaining on his deal and is $31.87 million against Seattle's salary cap next season. If the Seahawks are receptive, The Commanders could pull off a trade and lock him into an extension to reduce that cap significantly. The Commanders wouldn't be alone in coveting Metcalf in that scenario. But Peters has the money and the draft capital to do so.